that anytime someone takes the opportunity to go fishing, especially in March, they're doing so at their own risk. They're taking a chance, and this is Mother Nature's world out here, and she can be very unforgiving. So when you go out there, you're doing so at your own risk. You're taking a chance.
This is the time of year when anglers must be especially careful when venturing out onto the ice of the Great Lakes. Here on Keweenaw Bay, it's not uncommon for anglers to travel 4 or 5 miles to hit their favorite bobbing holes. And needless to say, over the years, some have found themselves stranded on the ice and at the mercy of Mother Nature. Well, up next on Discovering, we'll travel on one of these fishing adventures with a group of fellas from the L'Anse area, and we'll look back at a couple of instances when anglers were stranded. In addition, instead of taking fish, Dick Harrison of the Michigan DNR is leaving fish. With the aid of a helicopter, fisheries personnel recently planted brook trout in a number of North Marquette County lakes. These lakes are managed as walk-in fisheries, and it's a program that's been very popular with the angling public. Well, later on in the program, we'll travel along for a first-hand look. So stick around. It's Monday night and time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.
Secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. The forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak, surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields, the call of the timber wolf, lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure the feelings that I have for this fine land. There's so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
Discovering, brought to you by Old Style and your Upper Michigan Old Style distributor. Fry Chevrolet Geo, make every day a Friday. And by Range Telecommunications, today's leader in personal and business communications.
Night.
Day.
Flower.
Lilacs.
Color.
Blue.
Up.
Down.
Used cars.
Fry Chevrolet Geo.
What?
Fry Chevrolet Geo.
Why?
Exceptional value. Fry Chevrolet Geo's used car lot isn't the biggest lot in town, but every used car they put out for sale is a good one.
Fry Chevrolet Geo.
Maybe they're not the first dealer you think of for used cars, but they should be.
Range Telecommunications is uniquely qualified to communicate with Upper Michigan. A mobile telephone in your car or truck gives you hours of extra productive work time every week. How fast you get information and how fast you can respond can make a big difference. Mobile telephones increase your freedom while keeping you available to people who need you. And a Range mobile telephone system is very economical. Range Telecommunications. Call us.
The Heartland. Nowhere in America is the dream to be the best any stronger. It's here where Old Style beer is brewed. Brewed with the purest artesian spring water. Brewed with the most expensive, most natural method called krausening. But most importantly, brewed with a dream. Not to be the biggest beer in America, just the best. Reach for the best.
1991? Oops.
I was supposed to install this air conditioning in the year 1995, but this same Tempstar system of the future is available now. Let's see what special offer your Tempstar dealer has.
Enjoy parts and labor protection until 1996 with your Tempstar system from Northern Plumbing and Heating Supply in Escanaba or Aurora Heating and Sheet Metal in Niagara. Call for a free estimate.
It's early March, and these fellas are traversing nearly 5 miles out onto the ice of Lake Superior. The landmass behind them are the Huron Islands, and near here is a popular lake trout bobbing hole.
What was conditions like out here last week?
Well, last week we came out off the rough stuff here. You can see the edge of it here. We fished right off the edge of the rough stuff. We just kicked holes in this fresh ice with our boots. It's only about 1/4 inch thick then. You see, it froze up pretty good here the last few days, so better off conditions so we can get out here.
Keep on going. Don't bring it up.
You still got him?
Yeah, he's still there.
Little one?
Can't really tell. They don't feel very big.
Hey, that's a fish,
There's breakfast.
Don't goof up your line.
Don't let her swap in your line.
Good solid set, too. There's no way that was coming off.
If you take it easy, you just spud your way out here and check the ice as you're coming through. You know, you just got to be real safe.
There isn't that much ice. You were telling me earlier this was open water just a week ago, huh?
Yeah, we were fishing here a week ago. We came up to the rough ice, and we just kicked a hole with our boots and fished off the rough ice. And we've had some cold nights, and it's about 4 or 5 inches where we are right now.
But you're not concerned?
No, it's locked into the islands pretty good. And with all this heavy ice around us, you know, if you get in trouble, we're only about 50, 75 yards. You just got to, you know, just to get onto the really good ice.
Hope so.
Well, this group of anglers from Lance invited me up to see firsthand just how much fun this adventurous fishing can be. Now, we were bobbing with hand lines using Barracuda jigs in 220 feet of water. Now, the guys were feeling a few taps, and some fish were being landed.
Oh, not too bad.
It's a shiner.
Oh, there, I'm losing my change.
There you go. Hold them up, Lenny. That one really looks...
It's a good eater. What size eater is it, Tune?
It's smaller than mine. Ooh, is he fighting?
That's a 10
Probably
pounder.
3-4 pounds. Ooh. Oh, is he tugging? Whoa.
Slam back on. There he is. Whoa. Oh, that's a fish.
He's got air in him, but he's kicking.
Oh, that's what we came out here for.
Decent.
That is nice. That's a nice fish.
That's a beauty there.
That's what it's all about. Look at the color.
Nice fish.
Nice. That's a beaut. Whoa.
That's a nice
Now who's got the biggest?
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about it. Who got the biggest fish now?
You say you didn't even want to catch one.
Well, no, I wanted 2 because I was waiting for the bigger one.
So is it worth trying to destroy your machine to get out here?
Oh, you bet. It was worth it for the one.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Now today wasn't that great of a day, but not that bad. We at least had one nice fish.
Yeah, like it's always nice just to come out here. If you get 3, 4, you know, between us, you're doing good. And like that one we got, we put it on a scale. We had an 8-pound scale. It bottomed that out, so I'd say it's probably around 10, 11 pounds. And the other ones, they weren't that big, but they're good eaters and nice color to them, and they're healthy-looking fish. It's always nice to get some.
Ooh, nice one. A little bit better.
No.
Missed one.
Son of a gun.
The old green frog got him. About 2.5, 3 pounds, I guess. Set him over here down on the line.
That's that fluorescent one. I lost that green one.
Everybody teasing me about it.
I can't believe you guys are getting them on that thing.
That one glows in the dark. That green one, I lost it this morning.
Yeah, I used that glow in the dark the other day and it worked good.
Come on, Paul.
During March, the ice conditions here on Keweenaw Bay can change in just a moment's notice, which is why venturing far out onto the ice at this time of year can be dangerous. In the early 1980s, a Skainee couple went for a fishing trip early in the morning. It was a beautiful day, but as the day wore on, the wind picked up, and in just a moment's notice, the ice broke up, and they found themselves in quite a dilemma.
It was beautiful that morning. Oh, it was so nice. Ended up kind of bad, though.
Helen Collins of Skainee recalls March 14th, 1981 as if it were yesterday. Her late husband Homer was quite a fisherman and had taught her everything he knew. They enjoyed fishing together, especially on the ice, and were careful to check the weather report before each fishing trip. On that memorable winter day 10 years ago, the forecast was favorable, and there was no indication of trouble.
We didn't have time to do nothing, really. All I did was got my line ready and baited my hook, and he set up my tent, and we had an electric drill. He drilled my hole, and I just sat down and put my line down, and that was it. Then he hollered at me, says, "Helen, get up," he says, "let's go." He said, "The ice is moving." So we hustled and bustled, and away we went.
Did you hear the ice break?
I heard it was just like a gunshot almost. Just a big loud boom. But I didn't know what it was. I mean, I had no idea that the ice broke, or I'd have probably been pulling up before he called me. No, I didn't. I had no idea what it was.
It was fortunate for the couple and their fishing partner Andy Dipsensky of Lance that someone had noticed their plight. Michigan Conservation Officer Ron Stevie was called in and recalls the drama that was unfolding in front of his eyes.
It was dramatic as the speed it was flowing. The flow had probably moved by 6 or 8 miles in the course of those several hours. And we were getting kind of worried because the flow was getting progressively smaller. We were watching them as they were moving along, and at no time did the flow ever stop. And we would watch to the left of the islands, and a huge chunk of ice would break off, and it would go to the left of the islands, and then a huge chunk would break off and go to the right of the islands. And we were getting worried as to just how big a piece they'd have by the time the helicopter got here. So it was about 1:30, and we could finally hear the helicopter breaking the tree line. And by that time, they were way off on the far end of the islands, what they call Gull Island. And the chopper sat down and picked them up, and you could see them run. They really ran for the helicopter. We were glad to see it. And they picked them up and let them down, or set them down at the beach at the Big Heron. And there was a couple of real happy people to get out the particular flow. You didn't have to ask them if they were happy to be where they're at. And we probably watched that flow. We watched the flow in their tent for probably another 20 minutes, and it didn't take long, and the tent and the snowmobile were nothing but a speck on the horizon. And it was about 30 minutes later, it was just out of sight. It was gone, and then that's the last we saw of it. And I suspect that if the helicopter was probably another 30 minutes later, this particular situation probably wouldn't end it the way it did.
Now, did you go out fishing again after that?
Yeah, we fished after that. Not all on the big lake, though, because we didn't have any equipment left. But his kids took us down in the bay. We did quite a bit of fishing down in the bay afterwards. I wasn't even afraid to go back. I don't know, I guess I'm just plain dumb. Too dumb to be afraid.
There was a third fellow with you, but he never went fishing again, did he?
No. They said, we haven't talked to him since, but they said he went to town, he sold all his fishing gear, and he left. He went somewhere else. Evidently, he never fished again. He was scared.
As Helen stated, they lost all their equipment, including a new snowmobile, but they were still alive to tell others of the perils of Lake Superior ice. Now, over the years, some were not as lucky, and others were even fortunate not only to live to tell, but to recover their equipment. Bruce Emblad of Lance, who was along on our fishing trip, told me that his grandfather survived an ice flow in 1975. These snapshots that he took shows the open water and the Air Force helicopter from K.I. Sawyer that picked the group up. Now, a short time after their rescue, the wind shifted, bringing the ice flow to shore, and all their equipment was recovered. This winter also marks the 50th anniversary of one of the largest groups to ever be stranded on the bay. In 1941, 20 people survived an ice flow during a fierce winter storm. They came to shore in several different locations, suffering from exposure and frostbite, but they all survived.
Now there's a lot of things, a lot of dynamics that happen to the ice this time of the year. As far as, in particular, the two bays here, Keweenaw Bay and Huron Bay. We have a lot of tidal action that takes place in these bays that normally are locked in this time of the year with ice. And this tidal action can be quite dynamic. The lake levels here in these bays can raise from as much as a foot to 2 feet in a matter of 25 or 30 minutes. And
thus breaking the ice from the...
Yeah, that's doing a lot of things to the ice. It's heaving it, and it's making it flex, and there's actually current that passes underneath the ice. And this time of the year, especially when you start getting the sunlight working on it, and as the days start warming up, you have the sun radiating on the sun and actually heating it up. And if there's any wind or those warm breezes out of the south start to generate, it actually starts evaporating the ice as well as melting it. So you've got two factors that come into play here. You've got the weather conditions above the ice and the conditions of the current underneath the ice. And you can take an ice spud when that ice starts getting black on you, and you can spud out a chunk of ice and flip it upside down, and it looks like a stalagmite. It's what they call getting honeycombed. And the ice is actually deteriorating more so on the other side than it is on the upper side. And that's the time to stay off of it.
Well, as for these fellas, the trip out here may very well be the last of the season. But fishing the bobbing holes with just a bare line in hand is a tradition that's been passed on by many generations before them, and hopefully, if the resource survives, many generations to come. Before leaving, I'd like to give special thanks to Jay Fish and his family and all the good friends I made on this interesting expedition. Well, stay tuned. When Discovering continues, we'll have a look at a special fish plant. That's all coming up following these important messages.
Discovering, brought to you in part by the Upper Peninsula Power Company. They're with you all day, every day, and by the Michigan Forest Resource Alliance and Cooperating Industries, taking root in our own backyard, and by your Upper Michigan GMC truck professionals.
We don't like to think about it, but it can happen. Your child, alone, in an accident, injured and